Hello everybody and welcome back. It is about 5 o'clock in the evening and I'm just getting an opportunity to come out into the garden and get some jobs done. But it's occurred to me that it is nearly August and therefore I should probably do my July allotment tour before it's too late. So that's what this video is going to be. If you're not familiar with my channel, my name is Rachel and I share videos, vlogs mainly about my allotment garden. My allotment is my vegetable garden at the back of my house. I just call it my allotment. It's not a official allotment. And I sometimes share videos about my house renovation. If you have been here a while, thank you very much for joining me again. And we shall get on with the tour. Before starting the tour, I've realised that most of this crap that you see piled in the shed used to be on that shelf, which suggests some form of creature has been in here and caused disruption. I doubt it was one of those ones. It was probably one of the other kind. As usual, the garden is full of half-finished projects and unrealised potential. So I'm going to try and just point out along the way where there are jobs to be done so that when I go through and edit this, I can write them down on my to-do list. Okay, I'm going to start the tour from the shed door, which means we're going first into the mini greenhouse. I've got some lettuces, some basil that needs pricking out, coriander that needs pricking out, and some blue kale. These are the cabbages that I sowed in May. They got eaten by, I don't know if it was caterpillars or just butterflies, but they are actually growing back, so there is hope. The same is true for the purple sprouting broccoli. I've still got some cosmos that haven't found a home, and as I've run out of compost, I can't even put them in a pot, so they're just fending for themselves. And the asparagus. This is the pot of strawberries that used to be in the border over there, but are being relocated and are going to live here until such time. There is new growth coming, so I know they're doing okay. And there's some new growth there. The plum tree, which has had a very terrible year, seems to have produced 2 plums. So they're not quite ripe, but I will harvest, hopefully, those 2 plums. There's a catmint down here, which isn't doing too badly and has attracted a ladybird. In amongst the weeds, there is some cosmos. You'll have to let me know how you find the video quality this time, because I'm zoomed in a little bit more than usual. Sometimes when I look back on these videos, I feel like you can't properly see what I'm looking at because the video is sort of too far away, it's too small. So I've put it on the next level zoom in the hopes that it's a bit more clear, but it's more difficult for me to see, so hopefully we'll find a balance somewhere. Black currant, that was amazing. Made jam off the black currants. This was where the strawberries used to be. This is where the rhubarb still is. It seems to be coming back to life, having died off at the beginning of the year. I am going to dig that up and put it somewhere else in the autumn. And I have a special surprise project planned for the gap. that's been left. Cherry tree, no more cherries, but I got quite a lot of cherries off this year. And despite the big trees stealing all of the water, I did get quite a lot. And then we're into the tomato jungle. I think there's just two or three varieties of tomato in here. I think these are all Jen's tangerine cherry at the back. And then I've got a mixture of either Aurora or Grushkova, I think is the name of the tomato variety. They're bush tomatoes at the front. Starting to get quite a lot of fruit. This one's an Aurora. You can tell because the fruit is shaped differently, and these will be, oh, there's a leaf in the way, Grushkova. And then interplanted is some basil, which I really should start picking so that it bushes. And right at the very back, I've got 3 Market More cucumbers. So there's one there, one there, and one there. This is a patio aubergine. Look, it's got a little fruit on it. In fact, it might have 2. I think that one might be fruiting as well. So that's exciting. That is a type called Patio Baby. Oh, the basil smell in here is lovely. Compost heap. Doing nicely. And then this is sort of turning into the fruit bed over the course of a couple of years. I can see at the back there are some ripe raspberries ready to harvest. And so is my other aubergine. I think I'm zoomed too far in now. We've got parsley growing in here. There's another little rhubarb. There's more cosmos. Eric is eating the grass. Ooh, are we going to get another? We might be getting another aubergine. There is a globe artichoke. The perennial Welsh onions, which I cut back really harsh not so long ago, and have all fully recovered. Almost ready for another cutting, I think. The oregano has been lush. Look at those flowers. The sage in the middle is clinging on for dear life. The tarragon has gone nuts. This has been a really successful bed. I think the only thing that hasn't been super successful in here has been the garlic chives, which were really successful, and then I cut them all back and they've never really recovered. Got one bunch there and another bunch down there. So I don't really know what's going on with that. Into the flower bed. I've got, this was last year's snapdragon. Seems to be coming to the end of flowering, or a whole load of new flowers are about to be unleashed. The dwarf stocks have just started to flower. This one was in full flower yesterday or the day before, but it's gone to seed now. That's this year's snapdragon. I think it's the end for the sweet peas. They did not grow as big as I hoped they would, partially because I completely neglected them and planted them out really late, so they were a bit behind. But the forgotten sunflower is doing very well. Probably could do with tying in. Got more cosmos in here. This was given to me as a squash and is very definitely, absolutely a courgette. Ooh, and there is another sunflower. Some more stalks. Oh, they're so pretty. This was a self-seeded cornflower. Again, I think the sweet peas are done and dusted. But the dahlia has come out. Look at that beauty. Want loads more of those next year. I really need to figure out what to do with all this fennel. I've eaten some of it, but not loads. And then the poppy is still going. Can't remember if this was Icelandic or Californian, but it's bloody lovely. And next to the purple sage, look at that with that nice hot pink stalk next to it. Absolutely stunning. And then this bed still proves to be quite challenging. That winter savoury is just beautiful. It's grown massive. Like, I think it's twice as big this month as it was last month. The bees love it. There's always bees in here. There are still marigolds in this bed, even though they've died everywhere else. The celery has got to come out because that has failed. This is the really sandy bed, and the celery just hasn't done well, so I'm going to pull that out and hopefully sow some carrots in its place. I've got some tomatoes in here, which seem to be doing quite well. They've all got fruit. There is another courgette. No fruit on it yet. Another self-seeded cornflower. Thyme, which is doing nicely. The lettuces mostly have gone to seed, and I pulled all the others out so that one can come out now too. Another big tomato. That's another bush variety. I think that's another Grushkova. Another tomato. This is red sorrel, and it's all of a sudden started to grow really well, but it's also gone to seed. This, I think, is supposed to be perennial, so I don't know if I just cut it back. Oh, look, more ladybirds. There's several of them on this one. I think I read somewhere that because of the dry weather, this has been a really big year for ladybirds. I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, though. There are still some sweet peas going, but look how yellow the leaves are. They'll need to come out soon. Another bush tomato. I think it's going to be a good year for tomatoes if they ripen. If it doesn't, this time last year, it suddenly went very, very wet, and all of the tomatoes, I won't say it, but they didn't end well. This is actually a coriander, which looks like it's dried out and bolted and has flowered, so I'm just going to leave that there because it looks pretty. Then in a little herb bed, the rosemary, still not convinced it's doing very well. That thyme is very happy. The purple sage is doing alright. My vine is doing really well. And the green sage is taking over. So that's been a super success. I've still got 5 tubs of potatoes. This one will be the next one to harvest. The others don't look ready yet. We've got mint. It's becoming the mint border. Strawberry mint, apple mint, peppermint, and lemon balm, which has only just gone in the pot, so it's going to take a little while, but it's got new growth, so we know it's doing okay. I'm very disappointed that these tubs have not provided me with any raspberries this year. I think I've had like 3 or 4. I think they're going to need to come out of the tub, get all of the weeds pulled out of them, and then get repotted in some fresh compost for next year. The blueberries have been amazing. Not the biggest harvest I've ever had, but I'm always just so grateful to have them. They are stunning. And these, now that this is finished, it won't be long until all of this foliage goes bright red and it just looks beautiful. Again, the pink berry hasn't got a very heavy crop this year. Definitely did better last year, but they won't be ready for another few weeks, I don't think. This one harvests much later than the blueberries. But I've still got a few left here. Just going to eat that one now. Caterpillars. Okay, the big border, the final border. Oh, this is something wet. This is beetroot, and it is growing super well. Getting some really good leaves, but I'm not sure about the bulbs. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get any more than just leaves off of this. So I'm going to harvest some leaves soon and use it for spinach, because I haven't really got much else green leafy going on in the garden right now because all of the lettuce is bolted. Just going to deal with the dog because I'll be right back. Where was I? We've done beetroot. Leeks are doing alright. I did lose some in the ridiculously hot weather, so I've just put lettuces in their spot. And I think there's a parsley over there. And buried over in that corner is an oregano. And that is also flowering and looking stunning. It's not as lush as the marjoram, but it's not bad. And then more tomatoes. Basically just stuck tomatoes and cosmos anywhere where there was a gap. Buried down here is some chard. More tomatoes. There's some different varieties of tomato in here. One's a banana something. But they're doing well. They really need tying in and pinching out. Look at this one. That should not be at that angle. It should be up there. Greenhouse has not changed since the last video. I had to give up putting the window in. I just couldn't figure it out. But in here, sheltering, is my one surviving jalapeno, chili, which doesn't seem to want to produce any fruit. Probably in slightly too small a pot. It's not holding enough water, but hey ho. And another patio aubergine. This one's flowering loads, and I thought I saw some fruits forming on it, but now I can't find them. So perhaps not. Got 1, 2 pieces of side. Just got a little bit really to finish off in here. It's not too much. And then we've got the pond, which is still full of blanket weed and desperately needs treating. Look how well the plants are doing. I just think it looks so pretty. And then down the side of the compost bin, not the compost bin, the greenhouse. It's just a disaster. That's a little marshmallow. It's doing alright. Just need to remember it's not a weed. And here we are. On a slightly dreary Sunday afternoon in late July. Oh yeah, I forgot one. I forgot to show you. The lavender. And there we are. This is where we're at on the allotment at the end of July. It's looking pretty good. I'm sort of already starting to think about what's worked and what hasn't worked and what I might do differently next year. I'm disappointed that I have failed. Not entirely, but I haven't been able to keep up my aim for self-sufficiency of lettuce throughout the year. But I have done everything else, so it's not too big a deal. And it was largely because I chose to sow or plant out the lettuces in the sandy bed, and then they got really dry. So next year I'll just put them somewhere else. And I would like there to be more height in the garden. The tomatoes are helping. I've got another archway to put up, and so next year I might try and do peas or climbing beans or both. We'll see. Yeah, so I'm going to try and get a couple of jobs done now, mainly just tying in those tomatoes because that's embarrassing. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.